Hello everyone. So obviously a lot of talk on the divisions and how that's all going to work for the upcoming season, which I still think is going to go ahead. Although we're starting to get a little bit close. Let's sign the deal, boys. So for those who don't know, the mock-ups of the divisions are right here. This is what's been proposed. Other divisions. There's some potential realignments like Minnesota and St. Louis swapping. But I figured with it as it stands, and I'll make a new video if it changed dramatically, but I figured as it stands with the divisions, there are definitely teams that are massive winners and teams that are huge losers from this realignment. Should probably take out the word like huge losers, but they definitely, it hurts them making the playoffs for the next season. So let's run through them, shall we? One of the bigger losers in all of this is the Florida Panthers, which no one's really talking about, mostly because, it's the Florida Panthers, so everyone kind of forgets them. They've moved into a little bit more of a hostile environment for especially the hockey that they play. They're up against teams with some bigger bodies and real abilities to put the puck in the net, and I think that it's really going to highlight their interesting goalie tandem. If Bobrovsky doesn't get it together this year, it really rides on him to be able to get this thing moving. But last year they kind of were the fourth team. If Montreal didn't get it all together, they're the fourth team in the Atlantic. You had your Boston, your Tampa Bay, and your Toronto. They've been pretty much locks for the last few years to be the top three. And then they were kind of that mushy middle bit. They had to overtake Buffalo when Buffalo went on a hot streak in October, November, and then would fall off a cliff. And Montreal just being they were always that fourth team. And obviously if four teams get into the playoffs and that's the way they do it and there's no wild card, they're looking really good. And they've got to play games against Ottawa. Even still, I know they've improved. It's still Ottawa. Detroit, who are really struggling, and the Buffalo Sabres, who still have a long way to go to prove that they are, a playoff team. Montreal is another team that, isn't a bad team to verse if their goalie's not hot or if he's out. If they don't have it together, that there's some easy regular season wins there. Toronto can be very up and down in the regular season, so there's another thing. You might get them at a time when they just don't have their game together, and you might be playing 3 games at their arena. That's a good chance to get 2 or 3 wins there. So that really hurts them with the move because now they've got teams like Minnesota, Nashville, Tampa Bay, Columbus, Chicago, Carolina, and Detroit. Now you get Chicago and Detroit, still pretty good. But the games against Carolina, a series in Columbus is not going to be fun. That team plays really for the actual format of going somewhere and playing for a team for 3 games, playing just the same team 3 games, if that's the format that it is, and making this video on that assumption. I think Columbus is a huge winner in just that because they're built that way. So yeah, I think it's going to be pretty hard for Florida. Minnesota and Nashville are winners. Ding 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 ding. Welcome. Winner chicken dinner. Again, they move into that Florida division, who I think they'll definitely have Florida's number. And they're better than some of these other teams, especially on the run. Nashville last year really struggled against the teams in the West. So obviously not versing them as often is going to be pretty handy. But just not having to play teams like Dallas, who made it to the Cup final, Colorado, St. Louis, not having to play those sort of teams is such a relief. At Winnipeg, they even have some pretty big bodies as well. So I think the general grind of the season is going to be pretty good for Nashville and Minnesota. It's not going to be as difficult. I think the run to the playoffs is still going to be a little bit hard. It's not an easy run. I just think the pain threshold, especially not playing Colorado, I think, because I have a feeling they're the number 1 team next year, is pretty handy. Also, the other division is very top heavy, but it has the absolute juggernauts. It has Colorado, it has Vegas, which is going to be must-watch TV when they play each other. So just kind of addition by subtraction there. The Columbus Blue Jackets, I mentioned, are winners. Not because of the real change of division, although I think that does help not having to sort of go against Pittsburgh, Washington, Philadelphia. Even the Rangers are taking a step up. Boston's a pretty big body team to verse. So yeah, it's pretty handy to go there, but I think it's more the format, the actual 3 games. I think that's really going to help them. in getting some wins. So look out to them to do a small of damage. By the way, when I go through winners and losers, I probably should have started the video here. This isn't on travel. Like, this isn't, like, yeah, some teams like St. Louis and Minnesota are definitely going to have to travel. This is just more the games they're going to have to play. The next loser or the team that it hurts the most, it's one of two. I'm in a Vancouver jersey for that very reason. It's either the Edmonton Oilers or the Vancouver Canucks. They were in the weakest division last year, both of them. I think Calgary will get it together, so I didn't want to add them to this list. Arizona, it hurts them as well, not being here, but at the same time, I don't think they're playoff bound, so I think it's just more, I think it's just more of the same for that franchise, unfortunately. But yeah, so you look at the way that they got into the playoffs. Both of these teams weren't horrendously over 500. They didn't light the world on fire. Vancouver had very good playoffs, reminiscent to me of the Calgary Flames a few years ago, and then they realized the next year, oh, this is actually what we have, and whether Demko's the guy, there's so many questions there for that, but the teams that they're versing are really difficult going forward. So it's not just Vegas as the juggernaut, and then you've got McDavid. It really does to get a little bit more difficult for this team because you've got your Toronto, you've got Winnipeg, Edmonton, Calgary, Vancouver. Like, only 4 teams can go through if that's the way it works, and out of those 5, one of those teams is going to miss out. Add Montreal to the mix. They can definitely do well in this division. Ottawa, I don't think so. So I think one of those 2 teams is going to be the real loser here, because they do come from a division that has, a real struggling Arizona. I think that one of these 2 teams is going to miss out, and it's a shame because they do come from a division that's a real lock for at least 4 teams to do well, and that's Calgary, Vancouver, Edmonton, and Vegas. And probably with the teams that they're versing a lot more often than a lot of the other teams, there's a real good chance for them to get that wildcard spot because, you've got Arizona, then you've got the California trip, which used to be death, but now it's, Anaheim, LA, and San Jose. Those 4 teams are terrible. Like, they're really bad right now. I know LA's taking improvements. Anaheim did well in the draft. San Jose still has work to do. Arizona's taken a massive step back. They're really, so just subtracting those and having diverse teams that are better is going to hurt them. One of those 2 I think are going to miss out. I really do think that it's either Vancouver or Edmonton. One of those teams is going to miss out. Purely from goaltending, I especially on Edmonton's side, I just don't like their goaltending. But yeah, we'll see how that all works. The last win, I think it might be Boston. Moving to pretty much the Metro. Let's face it, they're off to the Metro. Is pretty handy. This team's getting a bit older now, and that kind of reflects on what every other team in the Metro is doing. So I don't think they're going to be outgunned by Tampa Bay or a speedy Toronto, or even if Florida gets it together. They can play pretty fast hockey. Montreal, I think, will take a step up. These are the teams that are playing in their division. Buffalo and Ottawa are a little bit harder, but so I did think they might fall off a little bit next season. But actually, I think playing the Metro teams, I think they're going to do quite well. I actually really do think they're going to do quite well. I think they match up quite well against a lot of these teams that don't play super fast hockey because of their age. Obviously, most of these teams have some line depth. But yeah, and it's just really. So yeah, I think it does help out an aging roster to have another pretty good kick at the can here. Be interesting how the Rangers do. I think that's the real wild card of the Metro is what's the Rangers going to do? Anyway, guys, that is the whole video. If you did like this video, hit the like button. Otherwise, hit subscribe down below. I've now finished work for the next month, so there's going to be a lot more videos. You're going to start to notice it. I'll probably end up annoying you. Just watch whatever you want to watch. You don't have to watch them all. But yeah, I really do appreciate the support and all the subs that we've got thus far. Really does help us out and keep the motivation levels high. So we'll do a return to play update today and probably start the season previews because we're about a month away from getting a puck being dropped. I'll probably start doing some World Junior previews as well. I've been researching a lot of those, so yeah, it's gonna be a fun couple of weeks. Pretty busy on this side of the fence, but I wanted to see what it would be like to do this as a full-time job for a month. I kind of get to dip my toe in even though I don't have the fan base to justify it, but I wanted to dip my toe in and see if it's something that I would like to do. And so yeah, so it's pretty exciting. And we got tons of packages from you guys. I've been getting Australian Post texts to say that stuff's on its way from America, and Canada. So thank you so much. If you did send anything, if you do want to send anything, the PO box, the parcel thing is down below. But yes, have a great day. See you and bye.